Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Nicole Russo. Welcome to the Spa Babies edition for Friday, July the 19th. We're going to kick off the Saratoga card and the 50-cent early pick five with this race. 5.5 furlongs on the turf. It's a maiden special weight worth $100,000. The 9 Be Real is entered main track only. So the morning line favorite for the horses in the body of the race, Nicole, is the one Governor Sam, who has experience and has speed for a trainer that historically does well with 2-year-olds on the turf.
Yeah, George Weaver here in Saratoga, especially, has had some really nice turf 2-year-olds in recent years. As we're shooting this on Wednesday, Saratoga took a lot of rain overnight. They're off the turf today in Saratoga. We'll see how well the course dries out over the next 48 hours. But I don't know what you think, Dan. I would anticipate this staying on the turf.
I'd hope so. It's such a nice race with a good combination of first-time starters and experienced runners. And we'll kick things off with Governor Sam, a horse that sold for $275,000 in April. Why not? When you breeze a furlong and 9 and change, a half to a Grade 3 stakes winning turf router. Tell us a little bit about this first crop sire, Improbable.
Eclipse Award champion Improbable was also a very kind horse. Sadly, will only have a few crops as he died earlier this year. Improbable by City Zip, and we've seen surface versatility from him and from some of his sons. We talked about that with his young son Collected the other day, who didn't run on turf himself, but has fairly good turf statistics. Improbable could very well follow in that mold. He was a good 2-year-old himself who continued on well to be a champion as an older horse. So looking just at his profile, I would expect them to be good and get better. But then looking at City Zip, who has come through, very strongly in some of his sons, Improbable could be a very versatile stallion.
Governor Sam raced once down at Gulfstream Park and showed big early speed before tiring. The winner of that race then placed in a stakes race at Royal Ascot. Might be too quick for these if he breaks alertly from the rail. The 2 is Gene and Jude. This is a Glen Hill Farm homebred by Kitten's Joy, going out for Jack Sisterson. Jose Ortiz takes the mount, and he's a full brother to a Grade 2 stakes winning router named Chicago Style. I wonder, maybe this one will want a little bit more ground than the 5.5.
That was absolutely the impression I got looking at this horse. Kitten's Joy can throw a turf sprinter. You think of Bobby's Kitten and some others, but overall, I think his progeny prefer a route of ground, and there's the stamina in the female side of this family to back that up as well.
Number 3 is Do, going out for trainer Gary Contessa, who had a big year with 2-year-olds last year. Some shockers at the Spa. Do is by Frosted, who wins 11% with turf sprinters. There's a lot of dirt in this pedigree, so it's no surprise that this horse made his debut on dirt, and he just happened to catch Studley Do-Right, who right now is one of the better 2-year-olds in the country. His turf debut is okay. I like that he showed improved speed.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting when you kind of look at what's come together for this horse. Debuted on dirt, as you said, dirt in the female family, but they must have liked what they saw from him on turf. He breezed on turf June 14th at Saratoga, then ran on the turf 9 days later at Aqueduct, and is back on turf here despite no shortage of dirt races in the Saratoga condition book. So just sort of looking at that evidence, I think they've come to the conclusion that that's what this horse wants to do.
Not only is the dam a half to those dirt graded stakes winning and stakes place dirt sprinters, but also a half to another stakes place dirt runner. And the second dam was a stakes winning dirt sprinter. There is some speed in this pedigree. The 4 is After Taxes, a colt that was bred in Ireland and sold twice over there, once for 98,000, the second time for 169,000. Kodiak's progeny have done well in North America. What should we expect from a Kodiak 2-year-old? There's a lot of turf and quality in this pedigree.
Kodiak's been a very good sire of 2-year-olds and a very good sire of sprinters, mainly as you would expect on the turf in Europe. As you mentioned, a lot of speed in this female family as well. The dam was unraced, but her dam was a group-winning turf sprinter. See the Stars, the broodmare sire, one of the terrific sires in Europe right now. And Wesley Ward knows how to get them ready first time out. And you look at the work tab, and this horse has been breezing for, months in preparation for a debut. I have to think that they've got this one ready to go.
The 5 is KY Anansi. This is a son of Caravaggio out of a sprint-winning dam that has foaled 3 winners from 3 runners. There's dirt on the bottom of this pedigree, but this sire is all turf, and this one sold for $15,000 in March after breezing a furlong in 10-2.
Yeah, and Caravaggio just on fire right now. A good turf sprinter himself, a son of the versatile Scat Daddy, of course, the sire of turf sprinters like Lady Aurelia and others. Caravaggio, the sire of the very good Porta Fortuna overseas, sire of Diana, repeat winner White Beam recently here at Saratoga. A lot of precocity, a lot of sprintability coming from the female family as well. I think the only reason that this horse, looking at this beautiful pedigree for this spot, is 30-1 on the morning line is because trainer Amira Chikakli really a horsewoman, cross trains her horses, really is a good program for them, but they usually seem to take a couple of starts to find their best footing.
Number 6 is America's Honor. John Velasquez will take the colt on this Honor AP colt that sold 3 times already through the auction ring, the most recent for $35,000 after breezing a furlong in 10-4. Lots of class in this pedigree, especially being out of a dam that's a half to the Grade 2 stakes winner Last Samurai. Let's talk a little bit about Honor AP. He's already had 3 winners from his first crop. Will they turf?
I think it's very interesting to see this horse on turf, because I didn't expect the Honor APs to kind of be turf horses. Of course, he did all his work on dirt, winner of the Santa Anita Derby, was one of the favorites in that year's delayed Kentucky Derby and ran okay with a wide trip. Of course, from that wonderful AP Indy sire line. But then again, the sire is only half of the equation. This one has dirt, has synthetic, has some turf further back in the pedigree. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what this horse ultimately wants to do. I feel like, they're just kind of getting him started. They've tried dirt. They're going to try turf here. And, the horse will tell them what he wants to do.
And he likely gained a ton of experience in his one and only start at Monmouth, a race where he didn't break very well, but then passed a few tired horses in a race won by a runaway winner. The 7 is Test Score, going out for Graham Motion. Manny Franco takes the mount. This is a son of Lookin' at Lucky. Lots of turf and class here. The dam's a half to Coffee Click, who won the Just a Game, a Grade 1. She's a half to Admission Office, a multiple Grade 3 stakes winner. Now, there's a lot of distance on the bottom of this pedigree. Sometimes Graham gives them a race, but it appears this colt's working really well.
Yeah, but that being said, that was my first impression that I would love to see this one going longer, a bit later in the meet. You look at Looking at Lucky, classic sire by a classic sire from that terrific Smart Strike line. Certainly, they tend to want a route of ground. The dam did win sprinting on the dirt, but you talked about Coffee Click, Admission Office, and others. There's a lot of route class in this family.
And the final horse in the body of the field is the 8 No Evidence. This is a colt by super first crop sire Vacoma, $225,000 yearling, a $325,000 April 2-year-old after breezing a furlong in 10 flat. Vacoma's 9 for 20 with first time starters. But this is the first one to try turf. Will they be as effective on grass as we've seen on the main track thus far?
I think ultimately they'll be more effective on the main track, but if you cross Vacoma with the right mare, I don't see any reason why he couldn't produce a turf horse. He's by Candy Ride, who is, a versatile stallion. We've talked about him with Grade 1, with synthetic performance in California, kind of during that era, with Grade 1 performers on both the dirt and the turf. A couple of his sons are very versatile. Twirling Candy comes to mind. So when you pair Vacoma, who overall, you talked about his first time statistics, but overall, 11 winners from 20 starters overall, he's hitting at more than 50%. You pair him with a mare with some turf and synthetic in her family, as this one is, and, I see no reason why they couldn't turf.
And this dam did win sprinting on the turf. And as Nicole and I always urge you, please check out Mike Welsh and his team's Clocker reports leading up to every racing day at Saratoga. So valuable to see how a horse like No Evidence, who breezed on the turf last time out, handled the surface. It looks like, and you're going to want to double check with Mike, that this one might have worked on in company with Brindy on July 8th. That horse is in our Spa Baby race on Thursday. Be Real is entered main track only, so we'll take a look at our top picks for the opener on Friday at the Spa. You're going with After Taxes, Wesley Ward, first-time starter, and the Kodiaks. Boy, they've been very, very good sprinting on the turf.
Yeah, when you look at Kodiak over the family with all this turf speed as well, and when you look at it and you're getting, 4-1 on a Wesley Ward first time starter, knowing how he prepares his 2-year-olds, knowing his prowess in this division, I really just couldn't resist that because I do think this is a wide open race. As we said when we went through it, there's some surface versatility in these horses. There are some who are going to want to go longer, which I think includes your top pick test score. So I do think that this particular spot is wide open.
Maybe the number one, Governor Sam's, just going to be too quick for these out of the gate. But I am curious to see what we get from test score. While I agree with Nicole wholeheartedly that this colt might want a little bit more distance, I did get a look at the workout on July 11th, and it looked like he did the better of Warming, who was an experienced horse that won first time out for Graham in New York with a 71 buyer. So maybe test score can step a little bit. Watch the board. Nicole and I don't have access to the tote. You'll see who's live leading up to race number 1 at Saratoga on Friday, our Spa Baby race. Best of luck.